For those of you expecting me to moan about the heat, forget it, ain't going to happen. This is our third day down at White House Farm. We've been here before, down near Sexmundon. It's not a big site by any means. There's 4 vans, as you can see, in a nice neat row here. There is space for a 5th van at the end, but there's also hard standings on the other side. And one day I'll get these buttons right. So we've got one more caravan down there, but it's beautifully mown as always, and there really is nothing to complain about this site. It's certainly one of the best.
Waiting on above for when you flush something and they can come with their folded wings, stooping down upon it like a bolt of lightning.
This little gem behind me is Cloud9, a tiny little coffee shop, a new venture, but pastries, cakes, sausage rolls, vegan, everything you like, vegan, normal, whatever. Superb service, very relaxed. Welcome to Southwold Lighthouse. A little bit inland from the sea. I'll show you in a minute when I turn round. Unusual, but it's a working lighthouse, so it's still fully functional and run by Trinity Services. And Mel with Alfie, who doesn't look too impressed. I will go swimming in the sea. Not me, these braves. Southwold Pier, very Art Deco, minimalist in appearance. Privately owned, shut at 5 o'clock in the holiday season. Find that very strange. Always get it the wrong way.
waiting on above for when you flush something and they can come with their folded wings, stooping down upon it like a bolt of lightning. It was breathtaking, dangerous, unexpected. You never quite knew what the outcome was going to be, but that was the point of it. It was the thrill of the chase. And even in modern times, that never ever gets old. So despite the wind, or lack of it, he's doing pretty well.
Oh, backwards and the leg in the air. Simone Biles eat the heart out. Fantastic, Oliver. James is now upside down. You're horizontal to the horse. Good boy. Good lad. Well done. Not only are they staying on, they're steering at the same time. If you notice as well, the reins aren't being held onto to stay on or to balance. The reins are nice and loose, help the horses steer.
This is Melody, who hasn't got her nose out of that book for ages, and she's already read one. Would you like to tell everybody what you're doing?
I'm reading a book.
I told them that.
I'm going to go out with Tony in a little while, and then I'm going to fish tomorrow and see if I can catch a big one. Now can I read my book?
If you want to, I'll let you. Have you got anything to say to all our viewers, all three of them?
Hi.
Oh, is that it? safely say that Mel's mastered the art of coarse fishing in terms of roach and rudd, because that's 2 casts, 2 fish. All about reading the water, prepping the kit, and then fishing away. Now that's a happy smile.
Where they're from.
Out the lake, I would think. He's a nice fish. Well, look at this, another lovely sunny day. Windy now and again, but not too bad. We can cope with that. And of course, because it's sunny, finally the barbecue had to come out. So here we go, but no messy coals. The barbecue's warming up and the wind's not going to affect it that much. Mel's laying the table out ready, so we're going to enjoy. We'll catch you after we've eaten.
No backwards. It was already cracked.
I put a crisp down. What you're looking at now is mother and child. They found a goose egg, so they put it under the chicken. The goose now thinks the chicken's its mother, and they go everywhere together. For the 2 weeks we've been here so far, the weather has been very, very hot. We've been very blessed, but it's not always good for Alfie. So our early morning walk consists of walking down the side of the field in the open, which he loves, and then we return through this tunnel in the trees, which is lovely and shady. It's just right for him, and that's the most exercise he'll get today. The rest of the time he'll spend sitting around with us, probably under Mel's chair while she's fishing. There's nothing else to do. Sometimes the dogs have to take priority. Well, always the dogs have to take priority, but you've really got to look after little dogs in the heat. A visit to the Norfolk and Suffolk Aviation Museum has been on our radar, pun intended, for some time. The weather's changed and it's drab and drizzly today, so after paying our admission fee, first stop was going to be the refreshments counter in the main hangar. Here, homemade sausage rolls were the order of the day, tea and cakes to follow, and very reasonably priced at that. Along the front wall of the hangar is bric-a-brac and books for sale. Mel always enjoys a good rummage in this sort of place and spent quite a while there. Most areas have good access for mobility scooters and the like. It was also pleasing to see that dogs are allowed in most areas. The icing on the cake has to be this. Your entry fee for the day gets you an annual season ticket for return visits free of charge. Now that is exceptional value. My father, during his spell in the RAF, worked on the Bristol Bloodhound missiles, especially down at RAF Aberporth on the firing range. So this was a poignant moment for me, and also for Mel, when she saw the sign for RAF Marham, where she used to live. Not exactly how I was expecting to spend the second to last day of our holiday in Suffolk. But hey ho, crap happens, as they say. Okay, so what happened? Well, it all kicked off on the morning of the day before we were due to leave. Everything was packed away, the awning was down, we'd done that dry, which is always a success. And we were just facing a relaxing day before leaving on the Sunday. However, that morning when I woke up, I knew I had a problem with my heart, because my pulse, as the paramedics later confirmed, was racing at 180 and extremely erratic. So they offered me a blue light ride to Ipswich Hospital, where I spent a delightful 9 days. Now, they did loads of tests, of course, and tried to control my heart rate with drugs. They were never going to cure me. They were going to get me stabilised to under 90 so I could be discharged back to the care of my GP and subsequently my hospital, which they've done, and that's where I am now. We've done loads of tests, blood tests and echocardiograms and electrocardiograms, even an angiogram, and I'd recommend you don't do that because that hurts in the wrist. But nothing's showing so far. So the next procedure, it takes place on the 9th of September, and if that doesn't work, then it'll be off to Guy's Hospital or the Brompton in London for another procedure. But enough of all that crap. That's one of the rewards of getting old, I suppose. However, I want to talk briefly about the true spirit of caravanning. We only ever stay on CL, certified locations or certified sites or whatever they call them. 5 van sites, very small. But Mel spent 9 days there on her own. The family at White House Farm immediately rallied to make sure she was okay and help her in any way they could. Not only that, but the guests in the glamping pods in the field next door, and all the different people that came in and out during those 9 days, every one of them checked on Mel, even if it was just to say, "Hi, are you okay? Do you need anything?" And that is the true spirit of caravanning that we've enjoyed for the last 40 years. it's not about who's got the latest gadget, or I don't know, it's just about being people, being human, being friendly. And to those people, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you for all you did. It was most appreciated. And of course we will be meeting up again, because like us, you treat those sites as your regular haunts, and we do too. It's the jewel in the crown of our CL locations. So thank you very much, stay safe, and to those new to caravanning and their friends and guests and everybody else, I suggest you don't spend the last day of your holiday as a 9-day extension in a hospital, because it seems to take the edge off it just a little bit. Take care guys, we'll catch up with you one day.